Dawn Peters, and my company is called ConneXion Hub, and I provide visibility connections and more clients in the DC metro area.
What inspired you to transition from a top executive and international coach to founding Connection Hub?
Oh, you've done your research.
Yes, ma'am.
So I arrived in this country in 2000, and then after I got my green card, as a top executive and international coach, and then I started my own business coaching, and I ended up coaching a lot of business owners. And when I was in the coaching session with them, and they were telling me about their business, my brain would go, "Oh my God, I know these three, four people. You're going to do business together. Let me connect you." So I gained a reputation over time for making great connections, like spot on connections.
Yes.
And then through my coaching, I was doing lunch and learns for coaching, and I would invite speakers and they'd get clients from being in the room. And then I said, "Oh, give me your headshot and bio. I'll put you out on my social media and my newsletters." They got clients. And then people started asking me, "Well, could I put them out on those platforms so they would get found and more visible?"
Yeah.
So long story short, after a while, I thought I've got to start sort of charging something for this. So I started charging, and it really was the acorn of Connection Hub. I morphed into Connection Hub from my coaching business because I did have a large network and I got a reputation for who I knew.
Yeah.
So that was the sort of the beginning of it, and it's just grown since then.
Yeah, it sure has. Speaking on that, upon moving to the US, like you said, in 2000, you expanded your network from knowing just two people to over 3 million. What strategies did you employ to achieve this remarkable growth?
Oh, that's so interesting. Somebody asked me exactly that the other day, and not many people ask me that. Um, a lot of networking, getting out in person and networking. But also, so that was really from 2000 to 2008 when I started my first business. I was networking, I was on speaker networks around the country, I was on conferences, I sat on boards. So that's how you grow your network.
Mhm.
But then when I started my first business, I remember somebody saying distinctly to me, "You've got to grow your list." So I then put it on steroids. And I just, I'm a little bit wired to network. If you ask anybody who knows me, they know I'm wired to network. I love it. I can't say no to a networking event. I just love to go to meet people, find out their story, find out what they're about. So that's how it started to grow. But then, because and has been now my business to connect people, connect businesses, I just do it every which way there's eyeballs. Where can somebody be found? Where should their business be seen
Mhm.
on a consistent basis? So it is about getting out there on many platforms, but it's not rocket science. It's just where people are every day, but
Exactly.
it's doing it on a consistent basis. And if you do that on a consistent basis, you get found, you grow your network.
Mhm.
And because I've done networking events since 2010, I'm going to put my event out there every which way I can. You're going to get new people in. You just continually have to get new people, new blood added to the list,
Yes,
and it
absolutely.
grows.
Yes.
And then people tell people, especially in this area, word of mouth,
Word of mouth.
huge.
Hmm.
So it just continually grows, and then it feeds into itself because I must provide new eyeballs for my clients.
Hmm.
There's no point regurgitating the same crowd for every networking event.
Yes.
That doesn't work. That's not going to generate new business for them. So it's my deliverable to them, but also works for my own business. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'd like to ask you about, as far as online goes, like what are you doing to market yourself online? Like we've got word of mouth, you're doing these lunch and learns, networking events in person. What about online? What are you doing there? Are you using video content, graphics? What's working? What's not working?
Yeah. Again, it's nothing complicated. I think the key thing about marketing and visibility and staying top of mind is consistency over time on multiple platforms. So what I do, and again, it's not, it doesn't have to be the all and end all solution, but it is a solution for businesses looking for visibility. I take them and put them on my social media platform. So I stay with four platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and Instagram. And then I newsletters, which of course, I think because of COVID have taken a resurgence and they go straight into people's inboxes. But you can put more meat on the bones in a newsletter. So that's great too. And I tend to write them. They get great reaction, a higher than average open rate, click through rate. Yeah, social media, newsletters. I then also do my own introductions and connections, which can be online
Hmm.
or in person or over the phone. So and also then exposure on my website, which I continually add to. You did mention about the video.
Yeah.
I did used to do a video show called Connect Live,
Mm.
Connection Hub Connect Live, and where I'd interview my clients live. and give them a long format interview about their story, their background, because it's a people by people first.
Yep.
So who are they? What do they bring to this table? It's obviously about their business, and then three little short format videos, vignettes, so that they could put those out on their social media. COVID made that studio close,
Mm.
but I will resurrect that again. Yes, I'm just launching a couple other things, but I will resurrect that again. I did also have an online magazine
Oh,
that I did, which I loved because even though it was online, you could incorporate videos and obviously all multimedia formats, and it even sadly made the noises when you turn the paper. But I loved that.
me
It's
too.
just
Oh, I love it too.
so it was great. But it's a lot of work producing a magazine.
Yes.
And I just thought, what is the ROI for my clients? Is it producing the right amount of results? And for the time investment.
Mhm.
So stopped doing that. Proud of the fact that I did it, but yeah, I'll move more into the video
Yeah.
for the next thing. Yeah.
Okay, we can't wait. I hope
Yeah.
we see you online and everything.
Well, yeah, yeah. Hopefully you will because that's my job. So yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And now, can you elaborate on the multi-touch connection marketing and promotion platform that I'm sorry, Connection Hub offers? How does it differentiate from traditional marketing approaches?
Okay, so I am very careful when I talk about Connection Hub, not necessarily to not necessarily use the word marketing, because I think marketing conveys I come in and I do your SEO, I build your website, I track your social media, whereas I do none of that. I take a business and put it onto my social media, my newsletters, my website, my instructions and connections, my networking events and speaker platform. So that's what I do. So it is different,
Hmm.
dare I use the word unique, but it is different. But it's through my networking connections because in this area, I've built over 25 years now, a reputation for knowing a lot of people and making great connections.
Hmm.
So, as I say, it's just those platforms that are out there for everybody, but it's very time consuming. It's having the reach and the eyeballs of how many people are you potentially going to touch
Yeah.
and doing it consistently over time. So that's the time investment and having the network to touch in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have like all those connections. So what great platform to have it on than with you. And that's why it's so unique because the way you're going to be reaching all those people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always try and think a little bit out of the box. I don't try and do. I hate doing just the norm. I always like to do things differently. So that's what I try and do. So I'm always trying to rethink or think outside the box or the envelope and do things slightly differently. Whatever works to get A connected to B because
Hmm.
that's what it's about.
Yeah,
So yeah, so that's what I do.
love it.
Thank you.
And then you're passionate about empowering others to succeed. Could you share a success story where Connection Hub significantly impacted a client's business?
Oh my God, yeah. So the couple immediately that come to mind is there was an author, and she just launched her book. And the minute I put it out overnight, she said she got 70,000 hits the next day on her website.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I know. So things like that. Then there was a photographer in DC. Well, there still is a photographer in DC, but he photographs monuments just in DC. And the only people he wants to connect with are trade association directors.
Hmm.
So he puts the photographs on award plaques in between October and December. So niche or niche, it's unbelievable. So that's what we did for him, and we just put out there calling all trade association directors because he didn't want to speak to my over 3 million people. That wasn't it. Out of those, which were the trade association directors that he could speak to? So that's what we did, and that's who he got in touch with. So, and it could just add to a point. A lot of people think, "Oh my God, that's overwhelming. That's such a huge network." But who out of that it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Who out of that do you want to talk to? So you've got to have the large numbers
Yes.
to talk to the individuals you're looking to connect
Hmm.
with. So that's the key thing. It's playing the game. It is a massive numbers game. How can you whittle that down to the people that you want to connect with?
Absolutely.
So that's what I do. Play the big numbers game. I've built this massive numbers game, and then touch them in different which ways,
Hmm.
multiple times, consistently over time, and draw them and pull them in to who you want to connect with.
Absolutely. No, that's
So,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. And now you have an upcoming event. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have been doing my own business networking events since 2010. where I bring business owners together, B2B, B2C, anybody and everybody, a very diverse group. As you mentioned, I've been doing, started with lunch and learns,
Mm-hmm.
and I have moved more into the evening events.
Mm.
Really came out of COVID because I didn't think people wanted to sit around a table like this, and very close.
Yes.
But my evening events have taken off. So I almost wish I'd had other people around here talking about them rather than me
Oh,
enthusing about them, but I do love them. So yes, I just had one last week. The next one will be on the 25th of March at Chima Steakhouse in
mm,
Tysons. And I typically get around 150, 160 people. People say, well, who's going? Well, I have a massive network, so hopefully I don't know everybody who's going.
yeah.
That is the point.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know I will have some regular people, and then I have a lot of new people that I've never met before. And so I have vendor tables. So anybody who wants a vendor table can get a vendor table. And then my clients have vendor tables as well. They get time to speak on the microphone in the middle and at the end with door prizes. So it's just a great opportunity to connect, to meet new potential clients, collaboration partners, reconnect with people you already know. So
Yeah.
they are solid business network events. People walk out with great connections, and I follow up and find out if those have happened. So they work.
Yeah.
So I just keep doing them. So yeah, until it doesn't, then I'll do something different.
There you go. You learn from it and then you keep growing.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Where can people find more information about this?
So I probably have to spell this because if I just say, hey, connectionhub.biz, they'll think, number one, they'll put .com and not biz, and it's .biz. And then Connection Hub, I was trying to be a bit clever, which doesn't come across right when you're just saying it, but Connection Hub is spelled CONNEX for connecting, IONHUB. So connectionhub.biz. So all the information is there.
Beautiful. Thank you. And then you've also launched a business directory. Tell me about this.
So yeah, this is new. So one of the options I do for my clients is make introductions and connections, which is really a deep dive into this brain. Comes with a warning. So yeah, I sit down or talk to my clients. Who do they want to be connected with? It's very time consuming. It's an ongoing process, to talk to them, then brainstorm myself, then get back with them, go through each person why I think they should be a good connection. So I thought, okay, how can I let everybody tap into my network without me being involved? So I started and I've just built took a long time,
Mm.
to build a whole new business directory. So anybody can go into it. It's free lifetime membership at the moment
Mm.
for the basic level. The other bit is part of something else I've just built. But the business directory is free to everybody because it's about getting found and then it's also about connecting. And so you can put anything and everything on there about your business, who you might be looking for, what you might be looking for.
Yeah,
So yes, so literally just launched that, and that's on my website as well.
that's awesome. And is this hand in hand with mastermind and business expertise?
Funnily enough, yes, it is.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, so this is part of, it's all pieces of the same puzzle. It's all about visibility, connecting people and getting clients and business, which is what it's about.
Hmm.
So it is a membership based program, group of things. What it is incorporated in that is free access to all my events instead of paying. The business directory, full access, not just the being in it, but every bell and whistle. Yep,
Hmm.
yeah, all of it. And then they are Zoom sessions, bi-weekly Zoom sessions, which I know people think, oh, more Zoom sessions. I really want to make them, and I will make them, mastermind and business solution centers and sessions. It's about what success tools can people share? What have they done that's different, that's worked for them? So yes, of course, it'll be networking, but it will be about masterminding, peer to peer, helping each other step up to the next level in their business. So that's what I want it to be.
That's awesome. So kind of like working together to help them get to that next level.
Yeah. And my background, way back when, in another lifetime,
Yes.
was all about sales and leadership coaching around the world. So I can't help, and then of course the coaching when I came here.
Hmm.
So I can't help myself. I love enabling people to better themselves, whether it be themselves as individuals or their business. And right now, Connection Hub is all about getting them to the next level of their business. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you're in the right business then, because that's what you love.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
And also, the mastermind thing will be a collective effort because once many brains get together, they can elevate that person or solve their solution. Whereas a lot of entrepreneurs, it's a lonely life.
Yeah.
So if you step into a community where you can ask, and it's a safe community, and you can share, oh my God, this isn't going so well for me. What do 20 of you think? It's amazing resource. So yeah, so that's what I'm moving more into, sort of more educational business solutions.
That is exciting. I can't wait for you, and I can't wait for you to launch everything and have it
Me too.
grow, right?
Yeah. No, I am very excited. So the directory's launched, the membership is just about to come out.
Okay.
So, and then who knows what's next? More video. That's what I know.
There we go. Yeah,
Yep.
you're reviving your podcast, so that'll be
Yes.
great.
Yes.
And then, what are some common challenges small businesses face in increasing visibility and connections? And how does Connection Hub address these issues?
Oh, good question. I think so. It's interesting when I talk to people about what I do and I say, oh, well, I do social media. And they say, oh, well, I don't need that part of your program because
Mm.
I've already got it. Well, in the nicest way, if you've got 500 friends, family, followers on your Facebook, LinkedIn, that is not a business in the making. You have to continually grow and have more and more numbers. It is a numbers game. People hate the word sales and marketing. If you're in a business, you're in the world of sales and marketing. So how are you marketing? So that is one failing. People focus on too few numbers. And then are you just regurgitating to the same people all the time? Or are you getting new eyeballs? And how are you doing that? So don't rest on your laurels, look out for how you can get new people. And as I say, I'm just one solution. Of course, I'm biased. I think it's a pretty great solution because it's focused in this area. But that's one solution. Also, I think being an entrepreneur is very lonely, as I just said. So if you can join any community, a really good community, and there's many out there, pick a great peer-to-peer educational community.
Yes.
Ones where you can be vulnerable and open up about how something failed, because guaranteed there'll be other people who have, but they found a way to get out that's going to work for you.
Yes.
So I think they're very key. And then I think the other thing is, oh, I could get into so many things about networking.
Please do.
Well, I don't know how we've got all that time. So I made my point at my event last week because I always like to give little golden nuggets. I can't help myself.
No, nuggets are good.
Well, I hope so. It depends who listens, really, and then puts them into action. But at networking, I said to people, "Are you networking or are you connecting?" Because business is always and it will always be about relationships, and you do that by connecting. And it does go back to the old-fashioned thing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the reason we're given two ears and one mouth, so we may listen the more
Hmm.
and talk the less. And so it's a great, I know it's so basic, but it's a great thing for people to remember at a networking event. Go in there and ask questions, connect, learn, because, and then you can have a couple of questions in your brain where you want to, where it veers them towards your topic,
Mhm.
your business topic, because then you can veer them towards that and find out what problems they're having and talk more about that. Because the more somebody is having a problem or perceived to have pain in that area, you could be the solution they're looking for.
Yeah.
Or they'd be more open to talk about it if you start them talking about the problem.
Yes.
So it's those are a few things. I could go on because I can't help myself because yeah, there's so many. I've been in business a long time now, and you learn. And I've fallen flat on my face, and it's how do you get back up?
Yeah.
And also, something I learned as well, reaching out to others. I think as solopreneurs, we're very independent. Well, you have to reach out to others. And I think that's critical to grow your network, to get things done, to add parts to your business, to be successful. You have to lean on others and ask for their help. And funnily enough, people love to help.
Yes.
So it's, graciously accepting and then giving back where you can. And supporting others, because if you give and support without expectations to immediately get the return, that's a community, and that's going to come back tenfold if
Yes.
and when it chooses to. So the DC metro community is huge, but it's quite incestuous, and you never know who knows who. So be kind, be friendly, be interested in the other person.
Yes.
So it's just people. People buy people first. It's an old adage, but it's so true.
Hmm.
And no matter how clever AI is going to get, which it is, I know, recreating people, it's just you being your authentic self and bringing that to the table, obviously in everything you do, but particularly in business.
Yes. You touched on some great points there where sometimes people want to go to these events, right? And they're so excited, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like they're so excited about themselves and getting the word out there about them that they kind of forget to make that connection
Yeah.
because they do see it as like, I'm going to network for me, but that connection is you being able to listen to them as well.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. People go, and I think maybe people should think of what is their goal for the event. If they think, right, I am going to connect with 10 new people. And so if you go in with that goal, focus, when you focus on something, it increases. So if you walk into the room with that goal, then the likelihood of that happening is far greater than if you didn't.
Yes.
And if you think, right, I've got three questions in my head, everybody I meet, I'm going to ask them these three questions. So already you're set, almost setting yourself up for success
Yeah.
because you're being interested in them. They're going to buy into you more because you're interested. They're doing the talking and they're the key points. And then the other key thing is you never know who knows who. So that might not be your client, but they might know somebody who might be their best friend, next door neighbor, whoever it might be. And they were so impressed with you, they'll make the connection for you.
Yeah.
So it's having your group of, dare I say, soldiers in the world to help you grow and connect. It's not just, well, that's my target. And oh, well, they're not of use to me. I'm going to move on.
Yes. No, no, no.
You know, I've had many examples where people walk up, what's your name? What do you do? And then obviously they perceived that I wasn't of use to them and they would turn around and walk
What a terrible feeling you're left.
away. Yeah. It's like, well, funny enough, I know a lot of people. So if you'd asked me a few more questions, I would have made some suggestions and connected you and made introductions for you.
Yes.
So it's people not being so short-sighted of just that person in front of them, because everybody has a contact sphere or network,
Yes.
and you never know. So it's almost just be nice, just be nice out in the world.
Love that.
Yeah, be simple. Everything comes back to simple.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then, let's see. How has your background in personal development influenced the services and approach of Connection Hub?
Oh my God! Wow, you have some great questions.
Thank you.
I love them. You've done your homework. Um. Oh my God, I almost don't know where to start. My background. Well, I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is I was born in England, funnily enough, with the accent. But I just thought, oh, England's a very small country. Where else in the world could I live? Spend my life. So I traveled around the world. I backpacked around the world for 2 years because I love people. I'm fascinated by people. And I'm not just saying that, I just am. So that, then, oh, before that, I did psychology again because I'm fascinated by human behavior. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went out into the world, but I knew I was interested in humans and I could pick up a book about psychology. So interested in human behaviors and habits and attitudes then, because they're all the hardest things to change.
Yeah.
I did 2 years with Tony Robbins, which is personal development. And I know not everybody's a fan of his, but his whole purpose is just to make you a better version of yourself. And really, aren't we all looking to do that, whether it's in our business or with ourselves? So those were fantastic lessons that then I took into my sales training that I did around the world to people, with people, to them. Um, and so because a lot of salespeople are worried about, oh my God, I have to sell to somebody. No, you just have to sit and ask questions. Selling isn't telling, it's asking questions. So again, personal development. It's all about being you. So who are you personally? So that, and then my world travels about living in different countries. I lived in 5 countries.
Wow.
I know. England and here the longest. So I just love people. It's just my thing.
Yeah.
So any which way, and that's why now I want to move more or back into the educational coaching bit because I just love helping people be a better version of themselves,
Yeah.
whether it be for their business or otherwise.
And we all
Um,
need some help with that.
yeah. So I can't remember other parts of your question. So was that
Yeah,
it?
that pretty much answered it. How it influenced the services and approach of Connection Hub.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's just you learn along the way. I think when you're in business, you learn from others. If you listen, you learn from others. And it is about attending a lot of different things. So it's not just thinking you have all the answers. You go online, you go to events, you go to conferences to learn from others because there's always an alternative way to do something.
That's
So
right.
you could perhaps add in the same or add in differently to what you do to increase your own offerings. Because in the end, we're all different and we're all unique and individual people. So how do you bring that to the table, even if you offer exactly the same service as 1,000 other people? How do you do it differently? And then your personality is going to be liked or disliked by different people. So it's about tapping into those people who feel that you're what they need.
Yes.
And that's all it is. It's not going to be for everybody.
That
So,
connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
connection. Thank you. I like that.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Can I ask what other countries you live in? The US,
Yeah.
England.
So England and the US, France, Greece, Australia.
Ooh, those
So,
are all cool
yeah,
places.
I thought Australia was the one I wanted to live in for my life, and I lived there for a year because you just get a year's visa,
Hmm.
and then you know how it is. Once you leave and you get back home, you get tied up into that. And then I worked in London, and then got the opportunity to move to Washington DC. So yeah, so it's funny how your life takes a turn,
It sure is.
but yeah, but the lifestyle in Australia pretty great.
I can imagine. I picture a lot of like outdoor things and just
Yeah.
going out and
It's about working to live, not live to work. So it's almost like that's Australia. America is a little bit live to work,
yes,
and England's somewhere in between.
between.
Yeah.
That is
So
so interesting, but that's so
yeah.
cool. That's so cool that you've been able to live abroad and just experience all kinds of things.
Yeah, it makes it does. I mean, all traveling and everything makes you broaden your horizons and think differently because you're in different cultures. You've got to be respectful of what's going on. Especially, I went to Egypt and India, Nepal, and Thailand, and Malaysia. So you've got to be careful of the culture you're stepping into. So I'm not saying, hey, wow, but yes, I think travel is a wonderful way to expand your mind and then bring back to your little bubble or
Yes,
world that you operate within.
I agree with that.
So, you know, so it's one, and I want to do more and more. The whole world is still out there.
Yes,
So, yeah.
go to Iceland. I've always
Oh
wanted to go.
God, yes. I actually don't know how people live there with the like, minimal sunshine or daylight,
Yep.
and obviously it's cold.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see, just to see like compared to
Oh,
another planet.
absolutely. Yeah, another experience. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Now, what are your future plans for Connection Hub? Are there any upcoming services or expansions you're excited about? I know we just talked about those, but anything else
Yes,
in the
I
future?
might get some sleep first.
Okay, yeah, let's jump on that now.
So I've just hibernated to create the directory and the membership. So that will all be coming together. Then I will go straight to some video and podcasting because it's essential for any
Yes.
business. And I found a way for the video that it doesn't have to be in the studio. It can be with anybody around the world, and I can be anywhere in the world. And yes, it can look like it's a television interview. And of course, much cheaper because you don't have HD cameras in the studio. So, going to do that because I want people to tell their stories. You know, to people by people first.
That's right.
Stories. What do they bring to the table that people can buy into? So definitely we'll do that. I do have a couple of other things. I might switch up the platform for the directory because it can offer more. So it's just more, and also just different ways. You know, the five core things, which is the social media, newsletters, events, introductions on my website. Those are the five core things of Connection Hub. You know, I might switch those up and change them around because it's always about where are your tribe? Where are they hanging out? Therefore, I need to offer multiple touch points within those areas or those rooms, online and in person. So it's just being aware of what's going on in the economy, in the market,
Hmm.
and then stepping into those rooms where the tribes are that my clients need to connect to.
And I think it's awesome that you're doing that in person and online. That's going to open so many doors. A lot of people are busy and don't have time to go here for out of town, or maybe they're coming from another state or even just another city. They're too busy. So
Yeah.
when they're home.
Well, you've got, and I think COVID made people, it's interesting, made people in some ways too comfortable online because it's an easier option than going out in person and not for everybody. But it offered the opportunity to connect with the world from your home.
Yeah.
And so people whose businesses are nationwide or worldwide, they can connect to those now from their home and it's more acceptable. And then the opportunity, I go between England and here. So the opportunity to still be visible and network online, no matter where you are in the world, is just fantastic for businesses. Again, for businesses to step up their game, but they don't always have to be out there networking. It's not for everybody,
Yeah.
but the face to face, or somebody said belly to belly
Belly to belly.
connection
Yeah.
is just priceless and
Hmm.
invaluable in itself, but not everybody's cup of tea.
Yes.
But it is out there, and it's just again with the networking thing. I will just add, especially in this area, you can network morning, noon, and night, and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner out at these events. But it's about pick carefully which are the ones where your tribe is hanging out and pick those. Are they the ones giving you what you need? Because otherwise, you will burn out
Mhm.
building your list, building those connections. And then you've got to follow up. So Maybe just network, pick 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday or something, and choose the events you go to. And then choose a day dedicated to following up as much as you can. It doesn't always fit into those neat days like that because you leave voice messages, and then of course they call back on the days
Yes.
you've allocated to the other things.
Hmm.
But as much as you can, it's about step by step. It's not about doing everything,
All
one
at
thing
once.
all at
Yeah.
once. It's little bits, incremental at the time. So I would say choose carefully, pick your days you're going to network, and then set aside time for the follow up because that moves the needle forward with your business.
Hmm.
It's not about putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. So
Love
it's
it.
just, yeah,
Great
little
advice.
things like that.
No, great advice.
Thank you.
Breaking it down like that. Like some people go in there with the intention, like, "Okay, I'm gonna knock this out, I'm gonna do this, meet as much people. And there is that burnout. Like we don't want to get you there. Just take it day at a time, find your tribe, like you said, and just go from there. So,
Yeah, yeah, and people find out, and even myself, even myself, because I love networking, but I reached a point a few years ago where I burnt out because to be networking, you're on. And if you're on in networking events and then you go straight to a couple of meetings, you're on again, and then you make phone calls, you have to be on again. We're all human. You need the quiet time to be on like that.
yes.
So you've got to know yourself first and foremost to know when you need to retreat. So it's about scheduling yourself wisely. And I learned it the hard way, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs do. You don't listen to anybody. You think I can do it. Yeah, it won't happen to me. It will, and it does. And it's about stepping back. And Christmas, two weeks over Christmas and New Year is a really good time to step back,
Hmm.
reassess, reset, and rethink for the next year. And then maybe at the end of each month, just do that again briefly. Otherwise, we get caught up, and especially in this area, there is so much that
Hmm.
is the new shiny object and saying, come attend this, come attend that. And you feel that you should, especially me. It's like, oh my God, a networking event. Yes, I'm there. Yeah. And it's tough not to.
Yeah.
For me, it's really tough not
We're
to.
missing out. That's what
Yes, a complete FOMO. And because it's great for me to make contacts for myself, but for my clients, because then I'll have more instructions and connections to
that's
make.
right.
So it's a duty and deliverable for me to do that, but I have to be careful because nobody wants anybody burnt out, let alone you for yourself.
No, no, we don't.
So yeah, entrepreneurs, we tend to do that. We push ourselves far too much.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so I was just going to do a little ad and say more reason to choose somebody who'll do it for you.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect pitch.
Just saying,
Connectress
sorry.
with an X, okay?
Yeah,
Don't
thank
connect us.
you.
All right. As we wrap this up, is there anything that I have not touched on that perhaps you would like our listeners to know, whether it's in regards to yourself, your business, your industry? You have the floor.
Oh, when somebody says that, you think, oh, no, I don't know. I can't do anything. I think you've touched on a lot, and especially the main things. I would just love to say if people are struggling with their time, they can't find they can go to enough networking events and get the contacts, or they're not getting the right contacts, then, at least let's have a conversation. It might not be the right solution for you. And that's absolutely fine. Nobody is for everybody. But let me have a conversation, learn about your business, find out if what I can do will help you. I'll tell you, but I don't think it is. But it is a numbers game, and it's multiple platforms consistently over time. If you cannot do that consistently over time, you have to find somebody else that can.
Hmm.
And just to add on very quickly, because this is two lessons I learned badly.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I started my first business, my coaching, I'm so proud of myself. I was sitting, learning, building my courses, perfecting them. And then two people said two things, and it slapped me in the face. And I just completely ignored them for a while
Uh-oh.
and then realized they're right. One of the things was, oh, you've got to be marketing 70% of your time. Come on. But I now get the point. And then somebody else said 4 hours a day. Again, I thought, what? I don't have 4 hours a day to market. So the key point is, so I learned it the hard way because I wasn't. But the key point is, you've got to be marketing, and whether you're doing it, get somebody else to do it. But if you're not getting found, you could have the best business, the best solution for somebody out there in the world, but nobody's seeing it.
Yeah.
And people have to see it in numbers. So you have to get it out there, you have to get it found by numbers consistently over time. It's a funnel. How many people are seeing it again and again for them to take action just to the next step?
Hmm.
Not to say yes and bye, but just to the next step. So you've got to get out there and
Yeah.
you've got to be visible over and over and over. So I can't stress that enough because I think as an entrepreneur, we focus on what we're offering rather than shifting the needle a little to focus more on getting found
Yeah.
and perfecting our thing along the way, but make sure you're visible every step of the way. So, and again, it doesn't have to be you, get somebody else to do it. I am one option. Of course, I'd love to be everybody's option. But yeah, so
Give it
let's
a
just,
try.
yeah, let's have a conversation with Connection Hub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
podcast and
you.
sharing so much insight on all of this marketing. I know you don't like to use that word,
Yeah.
networking,
Visibility.
connection, visibility.
Yes.
We so appreciate it. And I'm sure people are going to hear this and they're going to resonate with this.
I hope so. And thank you. Your questions and your research spot on. So thank you so much.